All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to your brothers that are laboring and pushing this word in truth and sincerity and with charity. I am the brother Abraham from the camp here in GMS Chicago, coming to do another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, Lord, and it be edifying. And this is a news article from Reuters. It says, as sanctions bite Russia, fertilizer shortage imperils world food supply. All right, in this situation with Russia, Ukraine, whether staged or not, whether real or fake, one thing's for sure: a famine is coming, woes is coming, more lamentations is coming, plagues are coming, prophecy is coming. All right, one thing that is for sure is the word of God. Will stand, and the prophecies will come to pass. Okay, and everything going on worldwide is the word of the Most High, and the prophecies coming to pass. And the Most High has set up His prophets to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom. All right, to warn the people of what's coming. All right, and famine is coming. Okay, Russia is one of the world's leading exporters of oil, gas, fertilizer, and other things. And the U.S. mainly with its sanctions on Russia, all right, has caused the inflation to increase, which is all by design. The elites are greedy and they want to get richer, and by getting richer they make you poorer, they make us poorer. All right. So anyways, this is a pretty long article and I was reading most of it, and pretty much it's a whole domino effect going on. There's a whole domino effect worldwide. Okay. It says sky high fertilizer prices have farmers worldwide scaling back its use and reducing the amount of land they're planting. Fallout from the Ukraine-Russia conflict has some agricultural industry veterans warning of food shortages. Western sanctions on Russia, a major exporter of potash, ammonia, urea, and other soil nutrients, have disrupted shipments of those key inputs around the globe. Fertilizer is key to keeping corn, soy, rice, and wheat yields high. Growers are scrambling to adjust, and those things that they mentioned all skyrocketing, all right, on the prices. It says the pivot can be seen in agricultural powerhouse Brazil, where some farmers are applying less fertilizer to their corn, and some federal legislators are pushing to open protected indigenous lands for the mining of potash. In Zimbabwe and Kenya, small farmers are reverting to using manure to nourish their crops. In Canada, one canola farmer has already stockpiled fertilizer for the 2023 season in anticipation of even higher prices ahead. It says farmers elsewhere are making similar moves. Reuters spoke with 34 people on 6 continents, including grain producers, agricultural analysts, traders, and farm groups. All expressed concern about the cost and availability of fertilizer. Right? It says in the United States alone, fertilizer bills are expected to jump 12% this year, after rising 17% in 2021, according to the American la 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 la. Some growers are contemplating switching to crops that require fewer nutrients. Others plan to cultivate less acreage. Others say they'll uh, simply use less fertilizer, a strategy crop experts predict will hurt yields. Production is most at risk in developing nations, whose farmers have fewer financial resources to weather the storm. All right, it says, my concern at the moment is actually one of a food crisis on a global basis, Will told Reuters. All right, on Saturday, Peru declared a state of emergency in its agricultural sector over fears of food insecurity. Um, the decree said the nation's planted areas have fallen 0.2% since August due to the rising fertilizer prices, and that the volume of grain Peru imports for animal feed has likewise declined over cost concerns. The government is now drafting a plan to increase the country's food supply. It says global fertilizer prices were already high prior to Russia's February 24 invasion of its neighbor, as record natural gas and coal prices forced some fertilizer makers to cut output in this energy hungry sector. Ukraine cities have been besieged by missiles, tanks, troops, in what Moscow has dubbed a special operation. It says, I'm just trying to get the key important parts, which everything is pretty important, but just kind of skimming through. It says, combined Russia and Belarus accounted for more than 40% of global exports of potash last year, one of three critical nutrients used to boost crop yields, Dutch lender Robobank said this month. Additionally, Russia accounted for about 22% of global exports of ammonia, 14% of the world's urea exports, and about 14% of monom. I don't know what that is. It says all key kinds of fertilizers. It says sanctions have disrupted sales of fertilizer and crops from Russia. Many Western banks and traders are steering clear of Russia's supplies for fear of running afoul of the rapidly changing rules, while shipping firms are avoiding the Black Sea region due to safety concerns. It's all amounts of to a double whammy for the global food supply. All right, Russia and Ukraine are major grain producers. Together, they account for about 30% of the global wheat exports and 20% of corn exports. Grain shipments through the Black Sea have already been disrupted. Stalled deliveries from those two countries have helped spur galloping global food inflation. The World Bank said last week that a number of developing countries face near-term wheat supply shortages due to their high dependence on Ukraine exports. All right. Says if we don't resolve the problem of fertilizer and trade of fertilizers doesn't continue, then we'll have a very serious problem of food supply next year. It says, all right, Brazil, the world's biggest soybean exporter, relies heavily on imported fertilizers such as potash, which accounted for 38% of crop nutrients they used last year. All right, so now it's affecting Brazil and their cultivation. All right, Zimbabwe, scarce and pricey imports have forced corn growers such as Boniface Mutais to make their own fertilizer. We mix cow dung or chicken waste with zinc. It says, if I don't get a good harvest, I don't get good prices, and that will affect me for the next 2 years. It's not just this season. All right, fewer acres, less fertilizer. All right, so it's affecting United States, Brazil, Zimbabwe. Um, it says Asia is struggling too. India, which imports fertilizer for a sprawling agricultural sector, is increasing, turning to Canada and Israel to replace its Russian supplies. Thailand, meanwhile, is facing pressure on signature rice crop. Russia and Belarus accounted for about 12% of its fertilizer imports last year. Alright, so it says if you're a merchant and you're absolutely going to lose money, will you still import more stuff? Right? Right. In Canada, wow. So this is whatever everything that's going on is gonna get worse. It's gonna get so worse. It's gonna get so bad out here. You thought the plagues of Egypt was bad? Boy, the plagues that the Most High is ascending is gonna be worse than that of Egypt. Alright, let's get some precepts here. Let's do a word search. Famine. Alright, so there was a famine during the time of Abraham. Right. And then what happened? Judah and then his brothers went to Egypt, right, because of the famine, and who was there? Joseph. And there they reunited. Okay. In the book of Kings, there was a famine. The Most High had told David for him counting the tribes of Israel. You know, the Most High was like, which one of these should you be punished in? You know, one of them was 7 years of famine, right? Or wilt thou flee 3 months before thine enemies, while they pursue thee, or that they be 3 days pestilence in thy land, right? During the time of Elisha, right? Here, let's read this right here. This is the book of Job, chapter 5, in verse 19. It says, He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yet in the 7th there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Okay. So what? The Most High will deliver us. The Most High will redeem us from death and in war and from the power of the sword, which is all coming. Famine is coming, death is coming, the sword is coming. Alright? Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. It says we're gonna laugh at famine and destruction. Ain't that crazy? But hey, Most High is gonna reward his prophets and his men that forsook everything, that sacrificed everything, all for the sake of this truth. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. This is Psalms 33. And verse 18, it says, Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Okay. Let's get this one. There's one in Lamentations that I want to read. Actually, it doesn't have the word famine in it. It says, die. Sword. And, right, Lamentations 4:9. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. All right, because dying of hunger is a long process. All right. And the spoiled people of America here can go a lousy 2 hours without eating. You think these American people practice fasting, practice staying away from their appetites, from their lusts, from their concupiscences, right? This is the place where people are given to pleasures, where people have abundance of things, and where people are spoiled, living comfortably, where people at a push of a button on their phone could order a pizza and it comes to their door, or order Uber Eats and it comes to them. All right, drive in their car through a drive-through restaurant. Okay, this is why when this famine and tribulation happens here in America, it's gonna hit everybody hard, like a RKO out of nowhere. You know how in wrestling, have you watched wrestling? Randy Orton, every time he did a RKO on somebody, it would be out of nowhere, right? These people are gonna get RKO'd out of nowhere, and the day of the Lord is gonna hit these people like a thief in the night. All right, but it's not gonna overtake us as a night, because we're the children of the light. All right, because what we're the watchmen set up on our watch. All right, watching for the tokens, for the signs, to measure the time. All right, and to give the warning. All right, that's our job. That's what we've been set up to do. All right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we're gonna keep doing that to the very end. Okay, and as we see with everything going on, we're close. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. So when this video was edifying, and as always, our honor, glory, and praises goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Till the next time, Shalom.